enough representation of artists on board. From what I hear is that nowadays MCSK highly hires.
You see, I think the biggest issue we have is that, one, the artist is not informed.
Right.
And two, the person who understands how the semantics work. Take that advantage. Because if you tell me about operational costs,
right,
and the money you collect, and we are in an industry which is almost 219 billion.
Which is something you need to prove whether it is the case or not.
Yes, if you tell me their operational costs and all this,
would not eat all the 219.
It doesn't add up. And also to, one thing that I've always been asking a question, MCSK was, you know, the license was stripped off because of the issues that they already have.
Right.
And because it's, let's say, a public company, because we, as he says, we own it.
Owners, yeah.
We are the owners of it. And then now, all of a sudden, that license is given, and we were not even consulted. There was no consultation.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's given.
Yeah.
And then there was a huge politic about that. And then we were like, you know what? Let's see what they can come up with.
St. P, when you say you did not have an idea that the license was given, how did you get to learn that the license was given? Because we also need to have these facts right.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely.
Before we come to Paul, just briefly.
Kekobo wali issue statement kuwa for this time wamepatia nini mpake license.
Now let's bring in the Kikobo guy. Atuambie their understanding of the operations of MCSK when these monies are being sent to the Wasani. Are you people consulted? Are you aware? Are you contented? And you know the role that you play in terms of course, ensuring that all this is a leveled playing ground for everyone.
Okay. Now, thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah.
Now, let me first allow me to respond to the fact that they are saying that they were not consulted. Actually, when the license for the year 2019 was actually being issued, there was public participation. There were at least 2 public hearings at NHIF buildings where we invited, the Kenya Copyright Board invited industry players, including artists. And they came in large numbers and they supported MCSK. Yeah.
So, all right.
Let me pause. Let me ask a question, please.
Yes.
We had issues with MCSK, right?
Yes.
You guys were aware about it.
Yes.
And then you guys go back and issue a license. It's like the way you have a corrupt leader, and we know the issues that he had, and then you guys, who are supposed to be the police, you are like you go ahead and give out that license, as in
without addressing the issues.
Without addressing the issues first, because at the end of the day, you guys have to be accountable with the responsibilities that you've been vested upon. MCSK had issues.
True.
Those issues were not sorted out first for you guys to give them that license. You see, and that's the questions that we are like, are you guys in bed together? Is there anything that, especially that?
Let me give you a background of what actually transpired.
All right.
We are not in bed together with anybody, and we don't. The Kenya Copyright Board does not favor anybody in this particular.
But you guys understood the issues that
we
they
understood
had.
the issues,
right.
and you
proceeded to
give out the license.
I want to explain what exactly happened.
Okay.
When MCSK were denied a license, there was a case in court.
Yeah.
The court said that that the Kenya Copyright Board is at liberty to start the process of issuing a license for the following year, but there has to be public participation. So among
but
we
that case,
let me first
that
finish.
case,
You'll actually understand.
that was the case that was in Malindi, right?
No.
Yeah.
It was in Kisumu.
Kisumu.
It was in Kisumu. It was the judgment was given by a 3-judge bench. Probably you are not aware about the case. So the court said that let there be public participation in issuing the license, and that is exactly what happened. The Kenya Copyright Board made invited applicants. They actually advertised, or they put a public notice on all the applicants.
For how long?
Asked the members of the public to make comments on the people who had actually applied. People made comments in writing, ad on email ad, all that. It was in the, we actually put the notice in the local diaries and on social media. Then there was an invitation for public hearing.
Right.
There was a large number that came out. A large number. Now, for the license to be issued, we considered the outcome of the public participation
But
to issue the,
So from where you sit,
Yes.
Paul, do you sort of say that, you know, you've totally ensured that the royalty collecting organizers are prudent, or organizations are prudent in how they're doing this? When you hear the Wasani out here complaining, and you know, it's not just about MCSK, there are a couple of other bodies that have been put to question by the very same content creators. Where you sit, do you suppose that you've done the right thing? And in the event that you had these complaints that we're having today, what step did you take? And I asked a question whether you were involved totally with the MCSK before they started sort of, you know, distributing this cash.
Yeah, let me come to that. First of all, like he said, MCSK is a company like any other.
Yeah.
Limited by guarantee. It is a member association. That means these people are the ones who set the rules. They're the people who decide how they are going to distribute this particular amount of money.
Right.
So to answer your question, we are not involved in deciding what is given to who.
Right.
The members decide. So for the Kenya Copyright Board is to actually find out whether they complied with condition, they complied with what they did agree.
So at this stage,
And
are
again,
you on the process of finding that out, or you already know and you're certain that they complied?
Actually, one of the things that we did, we set conditions.
Right.
Like, for example, out of the total collections that is collected, they must distribute 70%.
Okay.
What we have noticed, and where we have a concern with the CMOs, is that they didn't meet that 70%. However, it was an improvement because they distributed 68% of the total collection. So, and we said, the board is going to tell them, and they have actually let them know that, yes, you have distributed 68%. However, we need you to distribute in the next collection, to distribute at least 70%. That is a condition that was put for the license for the 20.
Why the gap? Why the gap in distribution? Of course, as expected by, of course, the Kenya Copyright Board in question. And even as you, you know, sort of answer that, also just to couple out with what St. P said, it's an industry that is sort of generating billions, standing at 27 there. He brings aboard a question of the fact that, yeah, you got the license with a standing, you know, amount of money in your account, standing at billions, 30-something billion. So, I mean, just answers, let's give us answers as to these figures that have been brought aboard. Why there's a gap, and, you know, do you agree that this is indeed an industry that generates a lot of money? And if it does generate a lot of money, then why is it then that there's probably not justice, or there's no justice in terms of the amount of money that is being distributed to this?
All right. Let me first start with what he asked me, whether I'm an artist or not.
Yeah.
There are several levels of hierarchy in the management of CMOs.
Right.
And it starts with the members themselves. And they make the major rules during the AGMs. And they pass all the rules that will govern them during the AGMs. Now, in those, in the AGM, that's where they passed what we call distribution rules that govern what was given over to them. And we have several categories of distributions, starting with the general distribution. We have distribution for what you get from broadcasters, and even events, if you have an event and we are charging at the events. So, yes, these are multi-billion industry that we don't deny. However, key players who are supposed to be paying these billions are not on board.
All right.
And the major players not on board are broadcasters, unfortunately. We have telcos who are not paying these. And that's where everybody around the world...
When you say they're not on board, exactly, I think that's a question we need to ask. When you say they're not on board, what exactly do you mean? They're not paying, they're not members, or what exactly do you mean? Before Kaploti asked this question, and equally St. P, because they're banning, I can say.
All right. Yes, we are saying that they are not paying. And they've not done that for a period.
Is there no proper understanding of the rules and regulations that are expected, and what governs, you know, this body, so that it reaches a point whereby, you know, we can decide to evade, just like some of the cruise, you know, crafty people would evade tax?
Yeah, actually, these are rule there. We have the Copyright Communications Act that properly says that before you get your license to broadcast, you need to confirm that you have actually been paying the copyright owners. But that's not happening. So we're still following up that with Communications Authority, with our regulator, to see how that can be put in force. So yes, the billions, the major players have not been paying. So we'd like actually to thank the small users, the kinyozis, kiosks, matatus that have come on board.
I want to ask a question.
All right, you feel comfortable.
Pause first. You see,
I feel
well,
comfortable.
for me,
yes.
this is like if I say, you know, big companies don't pay. But you see, big companies, it's, let's say, for example, a conglomerate like, let's say, Citizen, has, you know, all these media stations. That's only one. And then they are very few, they're microorganisms. And when you try to expand that or expound that to all matatus in the country, all vinyozis in the country, all the bars in the country, honestly, these media houses, they are just nothing.
Okay.
To me, that is. Because, and then also because royalties is just also part of the problem, but the harassment that DJs get, the harassment that the clubs get, and putting the fact in mind, right now, the last time we were here, we talked about, you know, Play KE and stuff. This is the right time to be an artist in the country, because now the media houses, which you guys are fighting maybe, are the ones who are making sure they push the artists. Right now, I think Kenyan music is played more. Like there's a tweet I think MCSK put at a, you know, that we'd collected few amount, we paid Kenyan artists kidogo money because the music is not played. No. That's a lie.
Well, the DJ is here. He's going to sort of confirm.
You can tell me, like right
today we
now,
started by saying play Kenyan music, by
if you go, like that hashtag, it's not necessary anymore, because even the people themselves, when you even look at what is trending on YouTube, it's actually Kenyan music. So truly, people are already adapting themselves to the culture of our music. And when you say the media houses are not paid, as an artist who understands and understands the frustration and who caused it, I don't care whether the media industry pays or not, because they are playing my music. They make sure that I am known. They make sure that neza enda club nichezwe huko na nilipwe kuperform. So when you say the media houses at Ibru is not paying, how much money will Ibru pay to even to distribute,
to make the 2,500 grow to about 5,000?